Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and we are back with another video. And you saw in the title, celebrity isn't enough, but fashion politics is. And the case study today is Beyonce. So I don't even think we need an introduction, okay? If you don't know her, you've probably been living under a rock. She is the undisputable queen of insert whatever genre you want to put in there. Honestly, even if you aren't a fan of her music per se, I think it's pretty much undisputed that she is one of the best current performers of our generation. She is known for her excellence, just her work ethic, just being top of the game, a leader. You're seeing all of these labels I'm putting on her, top excellence. The same reason why we love her when it comes to music is also unfortunately the same reason why her brands always seem to disconnect when it comes to, garnering in repeat customers, because the whole point of branding is creating a sense of relatability, whether it be through a shared mission or shared values or shared outlook, or even just personality when it comes to like personality influencers such as Emma Chamberlain, or when it comes to people like Rihanna, even her personality is a big part of her brand. And it's, the whole I'm a savage, I'm a badass, I'm confident, I'm her, I'm she. And so people want to aspire to that. And they're like, okay, I'm going to buy from you in hopes that I can also attach myself to the values that you embody. Unfortunately, when your values are, about embodying excellence, most people are like, I love that for you. I love it. I hear it. But can I actually attain that? Especially when it comes to Beyonce. Like, Beyonce is literally synonymous with top of the game. People will be like, oh, I'm the Beyonce of this industry. You can't then be relatable if you are the top 1%. And so, yeah, that's the price that she has to pay, unfortunately, for being, the best. You know what they say, is lonely at the top. And so when it comes to, potential archetypes that she presents as, Ayesha K. Faines in her 7 feminine archetypes does place Beyonce as being in the queen archetype. And so, just from that title alone, you know that it comes with a heavy responsibility, a heavy call of duty, and not a lot of relatability, because we're all queens in Jesus Christ, if you believe, all kings and queens. But in general, it's like not everyone is gonna be like the master of their field per se. And so that's why there's been a lot of struggle for her to really connect. But we're gonna, go through her whole journey and explain exactly why each business hasn't really been a fit and hasn't been able to get a lot of commercial success, and what's happening now. And so where did it all start? Well, outside of music, of course, where she was thriving, she was the it girl. Listen, once I saw Crazy in Love, it was me and her locked in. Okay. And I think just personally, I might not be like the biggest fan now, but yeah, back then, the early noughts, the early 2000s, Destiny's Child, whoo, locked in. And so in the height of her, peak when it came to girl group stardom, she decided to launch House of Dereon. So you'll see that in the middle picture with the peplum type blouse and the denim straight fitted, trousers. And unfortunately, it just wasn't gosh, I really don't like to be mean to people. It just wasn't a hit. Like, Beyonce, man, you couldn't do nothing else. But yeah, this might be reflective of the style that she grew up with, because she's from Houston, Texas. I don't know. Maybe this is what they were wearing back in the 2000s in Houston, but for the general population, especially the fact that her brand and her reach amassed millions and was global, this style was just a little bit too regional, I would say. And also, unfortunately, it just wasn't a standout brand. When it came to celebrity fashion brands, excuse me, we had the likes of, Rockefeller by her partner Jay-Z. We had Baby Fat. we had Fubu, you know, we had what else? Well, I think around the 2000 something I think I might have been dying out, but in general, like hip hop culture was really at its peak, and that was the predominant style that was in. And so this style, which is, you know, quite a little bit bohemian, especially if you see the other pieces, like very bohemian, and the short frilly dresses, and like even the color tone. It's not necessarily like rich color tones that were really popping at that time. You had the bright fuchsias, and then you had the baggy fits. This was completely mismatched to what was going on in the fashion landscape around that time. And so eventually, you know, she had to shut that down. Fast forward, I'm sure she's dropped like perfumes, Beyonce Heat, you know, that's done pretty well. And then she tries again with fashion in 2016. And now this is when we have my Ivy Park is your Ivy Park, and whatever the hell that meant. So I hate to laugh, but yeah, the messaging was confusing. Like, it didn't really make sense when she did that launch. She was like, "My park is your park." What do you mean? Like, do you mean like literally, physically, emotionally? Like, are you talking about like a place in your heart? You don't want to lose people when it comes to your marketing campaigns. You want things to be as simple and as clear as possible. You don't want to move. I mean, you don't want to lose people along the chain. And so, yeah, it was confusing messaging, but you know, we've all grown up with Beyonce at this point. It's 2016. It's like, wow, athleisure is popping. Beyonce's doing athleisure now. Okay, if you're a fan, you're like, let me give it a try. And I I was one. Okay. I was like, oh, let me give it a try, sure. And the quality just, yeah, it didn't surpass my expectations. And unfortunately, when you have a reputation for being excellent, your products that you launch also need to reflect that, because again, branding is all about, you know, your values being imbued into the products, especially if you have a very strong personal brand and you're relying on that to get your customers in. And so that was a big problem, especially with the first drop. And so I didn't become a repeat customer. I'm sure a lot of people didn't, you know, choose to keep buying, especially when we have Nike, we have Adidas already, we have Fenty Puma collaborations at the time, we have so many other independent artists. You know, there was Off White, plenty of other streetwear or athleisure options. And so buying from her, there wasn't a necessary like pull towards it. And so with later drops, she thought, okay, let's get more celebrities. Let's get more people that are slightly unattainable to promote my products. And I think that was probably the nail in the coffin, because it's during a time where influencers are the people that you want to really be promoting your stuff, and you're using celebrities who are slowly fading out of the paradigm of, you know, influence. Not to say they don't have their space, but influencers are definitely, you know, the new Hollywood, especially now. I think the Hollywood, is it the Hollywood Report or something like that? There was a special edition, and it was literally the influencer edition. So yeah, it might have not been peak around 2018, but you know, it was definitely still known that, yeah, if you want to push your products, you better get some influencers on board. And so I believe her marketing strategy just wasn't well thought out, and it was still communicating a sense of alienation between her and her customers. And another thing that, you know, a lot of people always point out with Beyonce is that she only speaks to us when she wants us to buy something. And, you know, love it or hate it, depends on which side of the fence you're on when it comes to whole um, entertainers having their own personal life and not mixing business with pleasure and mixing business with personal. But at the end of the day, nobody wants to feel like they're being exploited. And that can be the case when you say, oh, you know, I'm all about mystery, but then bam, here, buy from me. Yeah, I don't even put captions on my normal post, but when it's about business, yeah, there you go, caption. See how can, like, we know things are a transaction, but don't be so explicit about it. You know, where's the dance and game? What's the mystery behind your motives there? Like, there's no mystery there. Like, you're not. You're not using your noggins, are you? And so that was a key thing that again, led to the downfall. And so after 4 years, Adidas did decide to end the collaboration with Ivy Park. And so what changed? Why do I now believe that her new brand, Sacred, has a semblance of hope? I would say it's because of the turning point, the Renaissance tour. I don't think anybody saw this coming. I'll be real, because I never really considered Beyonce to be a fashion girly. Call it what it is, but Solange be serving looks. Rihanna be serving looks. Tiana Taylor be serving looks. But Beyonce? Mm-mm. Like, not to say that she was badly dressed or anything, but it was always like the same leotard on stage, like just the one that ends at the thighs, and the tassels. And I liked it. I love it. It helps her do her job of performing and being one of the greatest performers of our generation. But I never looked to her for style inspiration or even just in awe. But when it came to the Renaissance tour, not only me, not only my friends, not only my circle, but the fashion publications were talking about her. We're talking Fashion Bomb Daily was posting her all the time, and rightfully so. Vogue was posting about her now and talking about all of the looks and doing breakdowns. And she painted the town not red but silver. She shut it down. She influenced trends, and she's still kind of on that catapult of influencing trends. She really did her big one. She did it, okay? And I'm genuinely so proud of her, because it's a long time coming. Like, if I'm looking back at the House of Dereon, and I'm like, oh baby, this was needed. And so seeing her break away from the same old leotards was refreshing. And it's what was needed to bring back attention. And when it comes to this hyper digital era, attention is the name of the game. And unfortunately, when you live this whole super private lifestyle of, oh, I'm exclusive, well, then I'm not going to pay attention to you until you drop some music, because that's what I know to come to you for. That's what you've built this, chain of relationship and chain of communication between us to be as. I don't speak to you until I drop music. You don't, really engage me till I drop music. But now, without you even knowing it, I want to know more about you, because your looks are just defying all odds. Okay? And it's like, why is it that fashion is able to really, you know, make people view you in a different light? Because I would say not only was it like attention, it's now also a higher sense of admiration, because bar her already being the standard of excellence when it comes to performing and work ethic, now you're becoming a new standard of excellence when it comes to being able to garner attention, which is power. And I believe the ability to pull something off that is so avant garde, just as you see from the looks, is what makes people subconsciously think, wow, if you're able to do this, that means you're able to do anything. And then it also creates a sense of awe and wonder. It's like, wow. And, you know, in the Bible, it does say the fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. And like, fear of God can also just be like put, can also be translated as like, being in awe of God is, it's the beginning of, enlightenment. And it's the beginning of me seeing you as someone to revere. And yeah, she tapped into that power once she was able to finally tap into the power of personal style. And what personal style communicates is that I know myself so well that I could put on something that you would deem to not work for me, but it does. And on top of that, when your personal style is able to communicate your essence, again, it's like, wow, you know yourself and you're comfortable with yourself. You are confident. That's something that we're all looking for in life. We're looking for confident people, people that exhibit confidence in the truest sense. And when it comes to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I believe the top one, now, there's some theory and debates about whether or not it was actually a hierarchy or not. When it comes to my research, I heard he originally actually had it as a circle, But yeah, self-actualization, if we're going off the traditional hierarchy of needs, is the highest need. And this need reflects, morality, creativity, spontaneity, acceptance, experience, purpose, meaning, and inner potential. And so when you're able to tap into the power of personal style, you are telling the world subconsciously, I am creative. I know why I'm here. I know my purpose. I know my inner meaning, and I accept myself, and I'm willing to showcase it to the entire world. And yeah, as the hierarchy of needs says, that's high. That's up there. And a lot of people want to reach that point. I think that's the whole point of life, is to reach self-actualization. And so that's where the power comes from. And on top of, being a way to garner attention, because some people can garner attention but then it doesn't move them. The fact that she was able to actually influence people to also come to the concerts, because listen, you can say, oh, I want you to come in silver and do this, but the effort to which people will do it will reflect how much of a power or hold or influence you have over them. And people came decked out. Okay, people listened, and people, they bought these extortionate tickets because maybe they were convinced by the looks. And we saw this also happen with um the Barbie movie. Those looks, those red carpet looks, those, premiere looks, they were so amazing that everybody had to say, whoa, whether or not I even cared about this Barbie movie, it swept the nation. Everyone's now wearing pink. And so it's that same phenomenon, it's that same power of, these looks are so good and it's so enticing, and the joy also that you're exuding is making me want to partake in this, crazy era that you're in. And artists are, renowned for being able to tap into this. Rihanna of her loud moment of the red, and then recently we had, the Brat Summer of the green. People want to be a part of something, and so if you can create that for others, that's power. And on top of that, when it comes to the looks, I would say the looks also reflect, her branding of being excellent and also being out of touch. Again, this avant-garde extraterrestrial vibe is something, that's not ordinary. People don't walk around in silver armor suits every day and like super glitter, but that reflects her. I'm not like everybody. I am different, and I accept it. Even just looking, I believe it's this Schiaparelli gold with the hands. Oh, it was just a sight to behold. It was honestly beautiful. As a fashion enthusiast myself, I genuinely enjoyed seeing all of these looks, and I'm so glad we got to experience this. And so, yeah, following on from the success of the Renaissance tour, I think she realized, oh, this extraterrestrial vibe is my thing. Okay, let me put this in my branding packaging, let's make everything harmonious. And so for once, when it came to the look and feel of her, new businesses, nothing felt disjointed. Everything felt like it actually belonged together and actually belonged to the person whose name was attached to it. Even the name Sacred, like, oh, chef's kiss. And I would say the best style essence to describe it would be, it's categorized under the ethereal essence, leaning more towards the extraterrestrial look. And so you see that reflected in the packaging of Sacred, again with the chrome silver. And at the same time, it's not like harsh and angular, just like her. It's still quite soft and, perceived as more feminine or yin if we're going by the categories in this, in the typologies of different style essences. And regard to the choice to create hair care products, I would say there is, it's been almost a year now, so I can, actually look at this with a bit more distance from when I first wrote my article about it. So when it launched, a lot of people were like, hair care. So even though I'm saying all of this about, it doesn't feel disjointed, the product choice in and of itself was quite questionable. But I believe she's made it work. There was a lot of, questioning about, well, we've never seen your hair. Are you just peddling another product and putting your name on it? What is this? What is this? What is this? Especially when she decided to, do the whole marketing through the Essence magazine. And I believe the show is very beautiful. It shows different generations of the family doing each other's hair, which is something that's really important in a lot of communities, especially the Black community. And it's a way that we bond and share stories and we connect. But people were like, I don't know if this is your hair. I see the tresses, I see the waves, I see it blowing in the wind when you're on stage. But I thought, girl, is this you? Because if you're gonna sell this to me, I still need to trust that after I buy into, your name and what it stands for, power, out of this world, excellence, the product will follow through with its, promises. And so she was eventually coerced, I would say, by the internet, which is quite shocking. So, do a little video and, say, hey, this is my real hair, guys. But people were still like, well, is it really her hair? Like, I don't know if it did enough per se to really quell the fears about whether or not the product would work for other people. But then again, you don't know unless you try. But I really do think the Renaissance tour kicked in, the branding really kicked in, and people were like, you know what? Beyonce's excellent. She's proved it time and time and again. Her mother was a hairstylist. And I actually think that was the biggest key. It's like, well, her mom was a hairstylist. She's been doing her hair for years. Okay, let's buy this hair care product. And, like I said, whether or not it was her revealing her tresses to us and showing the scalp that actually pushed sales forward, I highly doubt it. And so that's why I put here, the marketing trajectory. I'm not sure if you could read that, because I think she learned from her mistakes, her and her business team, and said, we can't just, rely on my celebrity endorsement of this product. We're going to need the people to endorse it and, have influencers per se. And so how she got these influencers was actually through using the Sacred and Bay Good Foundation to sponsor different hair salons. And I believe this is excellent because you know what? A lot of people were probably thinking, well, we have so many hair care products. Why do I need yours? Yours is quite steep. And even though it's got the science to back it, most people are not really, they don't really care. They care about their pockets. Okay. It's like, listen, I'm going to use this Suave, or I'm going to use this Aussie Moist, or I'm going to use this Cantu. When you're going into the really high quality products, you have to be very strategic. And so I'm actually glad that she's gone down the route of basically using B2B and also using it business to business sales, and also, using it to actually gain ambassadors, because the salons and hairstylists that were sponsored by the brand, they're talking about on their platforms, they're going to use it in their stores. They have to pay a subscription, I believe, when I check the website, to actually get onto the program. If you don't get the scholarship and you just want to be a very good affiliated hair salon. And again, this is perfect for her brand, because if you're associated with excellence, using institutions such as the hair institutions in universities, that correlates with your brand. And it's like, of course, the hair salons are going to have the top of the line stuff, and we know that. And so genuinely proud. I believe this is going to do very, very well, especially as this is a long-term strategy, which is great because long-term always beats short-term. And so to summarize, I would say that mystery and excellence can, sometimes be your downfall. So don't harp on that too much. I know there's this whole thing going around of like, oh, where you're trying to be mysterious, but then the real me comes out. Like, no, don't try and be anything. Like, be yourself. But then at the same time, know that if you are someone who is almost at the extreme end of when it comes to, piquing people's curiosity and always being mysterious, that can lend itself some problems for you when you do decide to actually go into business in a way that requires people to put some real skin in the game. Because I always say, music, it's very easy. Like, it's not easy, but people consume it on the $3.99. That's what I'm saying. Buying products is a different ball game. And so yeah, be careful of that. And point number 2, I would say, is that fashion is powerful at communicating so many things that some people are not even, aware of. Who knew that power um could be accumulated just by having very good looks, like to this extent? Okay. Tap into it if you can. Tap into it if you will. Tap into it if you want to. And there are a lot of YouTube videos here. You can learn about the um, Kibi system, and what else is the other system? Don't want to leave you guys hanging. Hold on. So it's Kibi versus Kitchener. Yes, Kitchener. Sorry, guys. I had to find it for you guys. But yeah, you can learn about Kibi essences or Kitchener essences, or you can just hire stylists, to help you develop your personal style, or image consultants. Because yeah, one thing I hate, I'm sorry, is when the hair don't match the look don't match the fit. Listen, I like everything matching. I'm Congolese, okay? So yeah, hire image consultants who understand also like how hair affects your face and how your face shapes affects the hairstyles that suit you, because all of this plays a part. It's not just about the clothing, and so that's why I would say just even the tones that go with you. Like Beyonce really nailed it when it came to the Renaissance tour, and people took note of that. So yeah, so if you can invest in these things, either by hiring someone or you have the time to watch YouTube videos, then do that and see what power that brings into your own life. I'm all for women empowerment, especially. So yeah, use what you can, leverage what you can, and if style is something that you can leverage, look into that. And so finally, align your marketing and sales to your pre-existing values. So her having a brand and having values of hard work ethic and excellence is perfect for having a joint partnership with institutions that also exalt these same values. So really tap into that. You don't have to use influencers. There are other ways you can get sponsorships, so many things you can do. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. And yeah, if you're in need of any help, make sure you check the links in the description down below. I'm here for you.